What is false ego? I've mentioned it in another video and I've glossed over it in others. When it comes to relationships, but it can apply to any aspect of your life, false ego is having this spirit of false power, for sense of lordship or dominance over relationship in this case. It's a false sense of power. It is fueled, or its engine is because we live in the mode of goodness, ignorance, and passion. That is the driving force for false ego, and the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance is we experience those modes through the five senses. You know, so that is false ego. It's a false sense of lordship or governance over your relationship or any aspect of your life, right? So say you're in a mode of goodness, right? Which is what a lot of people aspire to be, because it supposedly gets you playing a higher spiritual lifestyle, right? But it's still false ego. Um, it You start thinking that you and everybody else are gods. That's the mode of goodness. All right, and that's false ego. Okay, so if you're in a mode of passion, right, you have this puffed up, this hubris um, sense, you know, that you can lord over everything in existence, and specifically your relationships. You're governing your relationships rather than just letting it be. And that is in the mode of passion. And of course, as a reminder, it's we get all these things through the senses. It's fueled through the senses. And then where most of us tend to what I'm seeing in modern relationship, specifically modern women, the modern woman, is a lot of times um, they're working in the mode of ignorance. And what the mode of ignorance is where we and this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm going to read it. It says, those in the mode of ignorance, all their activities are centered around the body only. Right? So you're looking at people, and I see this a lot with modern women. In particular, men do it too, but it's like more rampant with women, because there are more women in the world than men, and you got this a lot of social medias, the duck face pictures, the body pictures, the booty pictures, the skimpy clothes pictures, highly sexualized um, pictures. This that's completely focused on the body. Um, and it's not just on the physical appearance of the body, like the visual where you see the body. It's on part of sense gratification, the five senses, on sexual pleasure, the physical pleasure, and things like that. A lot of that is promoted, and that's really in a mode of ignorance. So once you understand those, right, you would see that once you realize that the mode in this sense of false ego, where you think you can control and dominate every aspect of your relationship, and you just let it be, if you just step away from that mindset and just let it be, all right, you're already aware that you're full life, and you exuding all love, compassion, affection, and things from within you for you, and other people will benefit from that, and they may try to exploit that. if they walk away, you don't lose anything in that regard, because false ego, gets into your mind. It affects your mind, and not your brain. I'm talking your mind, the part of you that separates you from spiritual liberation. The mind kind of keeps you entrapped into the physical, this dimension that we live in, and it's like a great divide between this dimension and the spiritual dimension. So it transforms the minds, and you start, especially when you interact in the modes, the three modes. All right, but the most influential of the three modes is the mode of passion, because emotions are driven off the mode of passion, and of course that taps into part of false ego. Anyhow, I hope this video helps you understand relationships from the sense of false ego. Now, some solutions that you can consider. Again, I mentioned being self-contained, or understanding that your whole life. If you understand that, you're well on your way when it comes to dealing with relationships. If you understand what I mean, just go back and look at a video about false ego, you will also understand that you really can't control anything in a relationship. You can only control yourself and exude from you the reality that you are a whole life, and people will gravitate towards you, and what you do for them is not for your own self gratification or get some sense gratification out of it, from a mindset that these people will show you appreciation from it. If people would naturally show some appreciation for the things that you do, but that shouldn't be what you're seeking out. That's false ego. You should do it because it's part of who you are, and not because you want something in return. That's a simp's approach if you're a man. That's a selfish approach if you're both a man, for men and women, but specifically for men, that's a simp's approach. That's a beta male approach. That's the only how I could explain it. If you want more explanation on this, just ask it in the comment section down below. A specific question, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share with other people if you think it will help them, and you'll have a good day.